Today I'm going to show you how to do circular concrete forms. So there may be several reasons you want to do this. So as you can see here, I did this fire pit with all these rocks in it. There's a chicken there. And it makes a really nice bench for people to sit on, so you don't have, if you didn't bring your chairs or whatnot, then you have somewhere to sit. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get some sort of a board that is relatively flexible. I do believe this is 3/16, some sort of board. I'll put the link to the Home Depot, the Home Depot link in the description below. But as you can see, this bends, which allows you to make a nice round concrete form. Okay, so if I wanted to make a little half circle thing here, I'd start by figuring out where I want my bend to be, and then I'm going to put 2 stakes in and kind of push it against it. For the fire pit over there, I just dug out a circle and then used the land itself to push against. So let's just say right here, and I'm going to want the flat edge of my stake to go with the curve because I'm going to end up screwing it to that. This ground over here is super dry. So now I would take this and I'm going to put the smooth side towards whatever concrete face I'm going to do. So if this was my outer one, as you can see, this stuff is pretty flexible. I would put it something like that. So there, that's how you do the outer form. And then the inner form, I would take same style of board. So if this was like an outer curved lip, I'd do the same thing and bend it like that. And then on this one, I'd put the stake on the outside and screw from the inside. Same with over here. I'd put it on the inside. And I'm kind of too lazy to do that, but that kind of shows you what we're going to do. So this process can be done for bigger benches. It can be done for, like you could see, I could do a whole fire pit. I could bring this around here if it wasn't for all this wood chips in the way, and I could form this. Okay, it cracked there. This stuff has been sitting out for a while. You could form this into a circle. You'd want to screw it a couple more times, and if you're doing a really tight bend, you can actually soak this stuff so it gets wet, and then that'll let you do a super tight bend so you don't get cracks like that. Okay, one thing to note, that if you are doing a taller form, you have to support the heck out of it. I'll put a picture of my forms right here. So as you can see, I had that thing supported all over. So for every foot of elevation of height you get an additional 150 pounds approximately per square foot pushing out on your forms. So you have to reinforce the heck out of them. Also on the back of the form, what I did is, because I was going into a little hill, rather than supporting the heck out of that, which I could have, I ended up just filling it with dirt, and that worked pretty well. Okay, one tricky thing is that if you have longer than 8 feet, which mine was, the inner diameter and the outer diameter was longer than 8 feet, you're gonna have to join them in the middle like this. So, or if you're doing it super tall, I actually ran another one on the inside and doubled up, so my form was thicker, so it was a little bit stronger, which you can do that. Just bend another one and screw it in, no problem. Okay, so let's say this one, I was joining onto this one, so I'm gonna bring this other one on the back, and this one can be a really long one that loops around as well. This is gonna be my second layer, and then I'm just gonna screw it in. Cool. So now we get a pretty flat surface, a little bit of a seam there, but that's not gonna be too bad at all once the concrete all pushes up against that. And then if I'm bending the seam a lot, you can even support it with, put a stake right where the seam's gonna be, and then force the bend, and you can screw it to the stake. Okay, another thing to not be scared of is if you were joining these together and you didn't have access to screw this way for some reason, if you screwed into where your concrete was gonna pour, if you leave that screw, it's honestly not the end of the world. It can still be in your concrete and it'll break off or cut off just fine at the end. Or what I did for my semicircle circle form there is I just went with an angle grinder before I poured the concrete, and then just cut off all my screws that were sticking into the round concrete form. Okay guys, that is it as far as forming up round concrete forms. Just remember to support the heck out of it. You can double up where needed, especially where your joints are combining. Support really well that area where the joints are combining, because if not, it can bow and bend in, and then you can have inconsistency in the width of your semicircle around those areas. So supporting it when you're done, push on your forms, make sure they're really freaking stable so you don't run into issues, because nobody wants to clean up concrete, wet concrete that spilled out of the form, because that's a pain in the butt. Anyway, guys, if you have any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, please put in the comment section below. As always, guys, thanks for watching.